All right, Samori Benjamin here with a very special guest, one of the greatest closers in MLB history, now with the Boston Red Sox, Kenley Jensen. Kenley, great seeing you, great talking to you again, man. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Definitely, man. So, so you're here in the Bronx, big game. What's it feel like to just be involved in big game situations and being here in the Bronx?
Man, it's awesome, man. It's such a great place to pitch in, great environment to pitch in. I know this is the biggest rivalry, probably in sports, so I just love being in this situation, man, and feed off to that moment that when the game is on the line and you come in this special environment and do the job. So, I bring the best of you, so I feel great.
That's awesome. You know what? A couple of weeks ago, I got the chance to interview the first ever ball player from Curaçao, somebody who I grew up watching here in New York, Hensley Meulens. He was actually here for Old Timers Day. His team was here in Colorado. So, just what was it like to just, know his story before you got into the major leagues and all that?
I mean, the story is great, man. To know that Bam Bam, was that first, whoever do it, from Curaçao, I mean, that's the guy we look up to it, and what he went through, and when guys like Andrew Jones came here and hit 2 homers in the old Yankee Stadium, then you have 2 of them, and then you finally believe, and see what Andrew did, and it's unbelievable, man. It just gives all of us hope, and the platform that Bam Bam is bringing, still doing it in Curaçao, bringing up clinics, I was part of his clinics, and you see guys from major leagues come over there, and it just gives you that hope, man, and enjoy that moment, and it's unbelievable, man, because now you can still see like a lot of people from Curaçao is coming this direction, playing the big leagues, and he's a big part. He's a big part that he done it with his platform.
Yes, a lot of talented guys, and I love telling that story about Andrew Jones that you told about '96. Myself, being a Yankee fan growing up, and I always say I had an uncle who lives in Atlanta, and he was a Braves fan, and he was telling me before the series, you have this young guy, Andrew Jones, and I was like, Andrew Jones, who's that? No one's worried about Andrew Jones, and then that first game, those 2 home runs, man, that was beautiful. So at what point growing up did you have hope, like you said?
1996, man.
Okay, 96, okay.
For me, I'm old enough, so a lot of these new kids coming up, but I still remember 1996, when he first got called up, got his first knock, I think it was in Philly, to all the way his diving catch in the right field against the Cardinals in the NLCS, such a, great offense in that postseason, NLCS, and then, I remember that World Series against, if I'm not mistaken, Andy Pettitte. I think it was game one.
Game one.
And
you're right. Andy
took him deep, and I still remember that like yesterday, man. Being in my parents' room, before I have to go to school. I don't remember, but I still remember that game. That it just give us hope. The kid from Curaçao, so that's what they call it, the kid from Curaçao. So why not us, So and he paved the way, man. I'm thankful for Andrew, and I'm also thankful for Bam Bam, for what he did, bring his platform in Curaçao and still doing it today, with baseball week and all that stuff he's doing. Open up a cage now in the Mall of Sambil. The kids can go over there and hit and develop. He put all those, the thing that we need now to develop, to get better in the higher level, he's doing it so far. So that shows you how much he cares and how much he's giving back to the community. And to Andrew Jones also is just, I'm thankful and grateful for him, the legacy that he carried. Not only he carry his name and his family name, but he carry, Curaçao on his back that give all of us hope. And here we are today playing this game.
Yes, I met Andrew Jones for the first time at the All-Star game in July. I met his son too, Drew Jones, who was in the Futures game. So I interviewed him, so that was very cool. So you know what? So what you're saying is beautiful. Now, the beautiful thing about it is that there are kids now in Curaçao who are watching you.
Yeah.
You are a guy who is very accomplished. You've done so much in this game. And so how does it make you feel knowing that there are kids now in Curaçao watching you as you perform?
You know, of what did you have in front, you know? So you got to respect all the players that you have in front of you. You know, from Bam Bam to Andrew to Randall Simon to all these guys coming up that we all did it, you know? So, you know, not only are we doing it for our family and the name that we have on our back, but it's for the country that we come from too, the little island that we come from too. So, you know, you just got to set the lead by example, and knowing that's not an easy thing to accomplish, but also if, you know, you want to send that message to those young kids down there, if you believe that you want to be here one day, you know, you just don't give up on your dreams and your hopes, and don't let nobody tuck you down. You know, keep fighting, you know, carry your faith, and you know, you never know. So that's what I did, and you know, until today I'm living my dream, and you know, it's year 15 now, and it's the love for the game that I have that I'm still doing it.
How do you think Curaçao is so small, able to produce now so many really talented ball players who have made an impact in MLB, so many of you all?
I think we always was fundamentally great, man. I think it was the matter of the time, you know, that scouts went there, find Bam Bam, Hensley Meulens, and he become a big leaguer. But I think, you know, it was such an unbelievable, like Andrew Jones' dad, to me, you know, God rest his soul. You know, Henry Jones, to me, you know, if Scott would have known back then, I think he probably would have been even as great or better than Andrew Jones. That's how,
wow.
You know,
okay.
what I'm hearing from my parents speaking up.
Henry Jones?
Yeah.
Henry Jones? Okay.
Yeah, when I hear my
wow.
parents speaking up, you know, like from Henry Jones, Rafael Silva, another one, God rest his soul, Lee Poelake, another one, God rest his soul, a tremendous catcher. So it was, you know, a lot of great old timers that, you know, probably if scouts would have been then, you know, those guys would have been playing the big leagues also too. So that's what I believe, and you know, we always was fundamentally great. You know, the way how we teaching the game is a little aggressive. You know, make sure that you know, learn how to bunt and you can pick it and everything. You know, and we don't have fancy stuff like this, like grass. You know, basically you gotta, you know, back then, scared to death so the ball don't hit you and you lose a teeth because we just playing dirt and rocks. You know, so that's how we learn how to play the game. So. But yeah, man, it was always telling down there, and like I say, man, from Bam Bam to all the way to Andrew Jones, you know, that's really when, you know, he paved the way for us, the scouts, you know, more scouts, after Andrew Jones, more scouts start to go to Curaçao to find talent, and so far so good, they find good talent.
Yeah. Now, growing up, you, of course, are a dominant closer, one of the all-time best, but you also played other positions. You were a catcher too, right? So
yeah.
How did you, growing up, how did that happen, and how did you end up, you know, just transitioning to strictly a relief pitcher?
I mean, you know, I pitched a little bit, not too much. I pitched in the Little League one time, you know, and when I was like pre-ventil, we call that. I pitched a few times, but I never pitched as much. Like, I think my last time I pitched was 2012, but, you know, I always have a great arm that God blessed me with, I feel like, and you know, it was a time of matter that when they're gonna make that transition, and you know, when I made that transition, it was, you know, it was natural. So, you know, I was scared to death of doing it, but you know, everything happened for a reason, man. That's why I'm gonna encourage young players, man. Anybody in life, keep your mind open, man. When your mind is open, your ears definitely gonna be open, you know. So. It's always someone who will recognize your talent than you sometimes. You know, we think that we're good at this, but sometimes people see, you know, where you're really good at, and for me, that's what happened. That, you know, when I make that transition, 8 months later, I'm in the big leagues and never look back down.
Well, 8 months later, so you signed with the Dodgers, right? Out of Curaçao?
Yeah, 2004.
And you were a catcher then. You were in the WBC as a catcher, right?
Yeah. 2009.
Wow. And so when the Dodgers, when they switched you to pitcher and all that, you ended up making it to the major leagues 8 months after that. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So what was it that made them see that you should try to be a reliever, and how were you
Credit
able
to
to do
John Watson, man. John Watson, our farm director back then. You know, it was a matter of time, man. He know that I have a great arm, but he gave me my chance. He gave me my time to develop as a catcher. But you know, I still remember that conversation in where we were, Albuquerque, AAA, when he wanted to make me a catcher, and you know, him telling me that, hey, you know, I'm gonna have a better career as a pitcher, and it's time to doing it. And I didn't believe it. I didn't believe that moment. You know, I wanted to just go home and just quit, but
you did, huh?
yeah. But then I'm just gonna keep it real. But then he encouraged me, man. He encouraged me to do it, and you know, talking to my parents, my family, and you know, I give it a try, and like I said, man, he saw it. You know, him. I gotta give credit to Logan White also too. That them two put me in the far league, so I could get protected in the 40-man, and yeah, man. Once I got protected in the 40-man, you know, yeah, sky was the limit, man. Till today, I'm enjoying my dream still.
So 8 months later, so fast. What do you remember about your major league debut with the Dodgers?
Fantastic, man. Dodger Stadium, you know. You always look that's where Jackie Robinson started, you know. So yes, Andrew Jones paved the way, but you know, like you see historic, you know, he's the first to play in this league, and to me it was such a historic, you know, it was, man, like I still remember that moment wearing that uniform and couldn't believe it, man. And it was a packed stadium and facing the Mets, thing, tie game, and yeah, it was scary, but you know, I get it done, and the next day I got my first save, and yeah, man, till today I'm enjoying it.
Try about 3 more for you. I know you got to get ready.
Yeah.
I appreciate your time, man. So you're like I said, one of the all-time closers. Being a closer is not easy. A lot of pressure. You talk about scary. I would imagine myself being in the big moment here, it could be scary and all that. A lot of highs, a lot of great highs, a lot of, you know, disappointments and lows too at times. How was it for you in 2020? You all win the World Series after being there for a few years, ups and downs, and how was that moment?
The moment was awesome, man. The moment was awesome, but it was a lot of pain. I had a lot of pain, a lot of disappointment, but I was happy that all the fight that we did, you know, we finally got through and win the World Series. But a part of me feel that I didn't finish the job, you know, and it felt disappointment. But it's the greatest feeling that I can also tell you that raising that trophy was unbelievable. So, you know, that's the one thing that nobody can take away from us. You know, I will cherish that moment, and of course, that's the part of me that make me want to continue to keep doing it, because I wanna get another try back to that, you know, championship again, like try to play in the World Series again and do it again. So that's the part that make me keep going and get better every day, and wanted to continue to do this for a little bit more.
So why did you feel like at the time that you had not finished the job?
I wasn't there, man. I failed a few games, you know, and of course it's better for, you know, the team at that time to make a better decision to have someone else close it. So you know, for me doing it for so while, and you know, like I say, man, credit to your teammates, and that's why your teammates there for you to pick you up, you know, and it bring a lot of disappointment, but it also teach me a lot of things in life, you know, that, you know, you gotta have people around you, you know, respect your teammates, and don't try to put everything on your back. And you know, we're a 26-man roster, and we all have to do it at that moment. And at that moment, I feel like I fall down, but you know, the whole team, the whole 25-man picked me up. So that was awesome about that team that year, because I forgot what game was it, game 3 or 4, that, you know, I blew that safe against Tampa. You know, my teammates was there for me and picked me up, and that was, you know, a thing that I remember. But like I said, man, once Julio got that last out, it was you could feel like everything came down, man, and it was the best feeling at that time.
As a reliever, how were you able to just stay mentally strong when you go through bad spots, in the course of a game, a season, and career? And right now with Boston, you are pitching as well as ever. So how are you able to do that?
For me, after 2020, I kind of make my team bigger for me, and I get the other part to get a therapist to help me process stuff and educate and exercise my mind to get stronger and offload some disappointments to give me a chance to continue to do this. And that's the best thing that I could tell you that I did, that makes my career keep going, like you say, like still in the high level. Yeah, man, you gotta learn that, when you fail, it's just, those are the part that make you great, that you're gonna come back again and do it and be great at it and be consistent. So that's what I can say about being a late inning guy. You gotta have that short memory, and, you can't keep, dwell on, the outing before. You gotta move on quick, and because the next day you need to help your team win baseball again. So that's one thing I can tell you about doing that.
It's very admirable because, and one more for you, but it's very admirable.
Yeah.
I just want to say because, myself growing up, I can remember, I was not a pitcher, but I remember one time I was pitching and I thought that I threw pretty hard. I remember I got into a game and I was throwing my fastball and he was like crushing my ball, crushing every batter. So I got so demoralized where I didn't believe that I could get the ball past anybody or get anybody out. So it's really impressive how you all are able to still, stay confident when you have struggles. Okay, last one for you, two-part question. Jess, who is the most talented player you've ever played with, and who is the toughest hitter that you've had to face in your life?
Most talented player that I ever played with, Mookie Betts, 100%. I think there's a guy that can play any sports. He can play any position, I feel like, in baseball. He can do whatever he wants to with it when he's hitting. I know it's still a tough sport that, we all go to our field, but this is the guy that you can see that, man, like being his teammate for 2 years, I don't think there's any more talented player than him. And toughest hitter, I will say in my career, Martin Prado. So I think he got 4 homers against me. Like, I don't know how I could get him out, but I think I throw beach balls against him. So that's the guy I feel like was the toughest hitter that I ever faced.
All right, folks, so you heard it there. One of the all-time greats, one of the best closers ever, multiple-time All-Star, multiple-time save leader in MLB, and also a champion 2020 with the Dodgers, one of the Curaçao legends, Kenley Jensen. Man, Kenley, thank you so much, man.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you.
All right.
All right, folks, we're back.
All right.